Hi, my name's Casey. I work with a company called Ideal Wine and Spirits based out of Medford, Massachusetts. And today I just want to tell you about some wines we're going to be featuring at the Spirited Gourmet. Let's begin. So, first I want to tell you about the uh, Philippe Viollet Vin de Savoie Blanc. So, Savoie is the mountainous region that is on the Swiss border of France. It's where the Alps are. Um, Yeah, it's a very cool area for wine. It's very high altitude and it's quite cold. And surprisingly, in those conditions, you actually end up with wines that maybe aren't great for cold weather. The white wines can be very tropical. This wine mainly features a grape called Jacquard, and then it's rounded out with a little bit of Chardonnay, Altesse, and Chasselas, which are native varietals to that region. Yeah, really, really nice. I'd say kind of apricot tangerine fruit. Great minerality, really direct, really refreshing white wine. It's very versatile. It's very easy to drink. We really, really like it. And Philippe Viollet has been making wine in that region since the mid '80s. So he's got a really nice hand. He's very experienced. All right. Next, another white wine, also a little bit high altitude. This is Andre Felici Verdicchio de Castelli di Jesi. So Castelli di Jesi is in the Marche, which is kind of in central Italy, and Verdicchio is the name of the grape. It's probably the best white grape that grows in that region. And Andrea Felici, he no longer makes the wine at this winery. His son took over some time ago. And when his son took over, he really, really focused. He converted the whole farm to organic farming, and he really only makes this one wine. So it's obvious it's something that it's very important to him. It's got amazing minerality. They have some of the highest altitude vineyards in the Castelli di Jesi, and when you have high altitude vineyards, it's really nice. You can get this really good kind of stony minerality in a wine because it's not so hot, so you don't end up with these kind of fat white wines. So yeah, really direct, really pretty kind of green melon fruit, but just a ton of stony minerality. It's really, really quite refreshing. It's really nice to have with like kind of a fish dish or a chicken dish. Yeah, really, really refreshing. Really nice wine. Next, we're going to talk about the Allegra Ribera del Duero. So in Ribera del Duero, the main grape they grow is Tempranillo, as you can see right there. Yeah, and this wine is made by two sisters called the De Palmas sisters, and they're kind of up and coming winemakers in Spain. They do two things. They make some wine in Ribera del Duero and also in Rioja, but they also kind of they find good young winemakers and help import some of their wines to America. So they really are very passionate about wine, and this Tempranillo is just so nice. It's really fruit driven, really pretty red fruit, really nice tannin. A lot of times in Spain, you can get over oaked wines, which some people like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but this is not that. The Allegra Ribera del Duero has no new wood on it. It's just pure red fruit and that really nice kind of almost kind of refreshing tannin that kind of does that in your mouth, you know? Yeah, really nice wine, really easy drinking. Next, I'd like to talk about the Chateau La Grollet Côte de Bourg. So Côte de Bourg is on the right bank of Bordeaux, and the right bank is where all the really good Merlot grows. This wine is predominantly Merlot. It's got a little bit of Cab Sauv, a little bit of Cab Franc, and just a little bit of Malbec as well. Yeah, it's a female winemaker here, and this is actually the largest biodynamic winery in Bordeaux. It's pretty impressive. It's not easy to even organically farm in Bordeaux, let alone biodynamically farm. But we really like biodynamic farms because you end up with grapes that are really concentrated with a lot of flavor, and there's not a ton of water in the grapes, which we also like. You can't make a ton of wine this way, but the wine you do make is extremely flavorful. And this wine has so much flavor. Really good fruit, really good earth, really good salinity, which is the kind of secret weapon when you're talking about Bordeaux's and why they're so refreshing, even though they're kind of bigger red wines. You get a lot of ocean influence there, and it really comes out in the wines. But yeah, this is just such a complete wine, especially for the money. I really, really love it. It's a go-to for me. So yeah, Chateau La Grellet, we really like it. And last, I want to talk about the Urgelet Brothers Contra Costa County Zinfandel from the Delbarva Vineyard. So the Urgelet brothers are actually from Massachusetts. They grew up in Sudbury until they were in about middle school, and then they moved to Germany. When they were in Germany, they learned how to organically farm, and they learned how to make wine. And they actually now operate an organic vegetable farm where they also make wine out in Contra Costa County. Contra Costa County is right outside of the Bay Area, and it's a really interesting region for wine because they're right in the foothills of Mount Diablo, and all of the soil there is sand. Sand is pretty unique in the wine world because it's immune to a vine disease called phylloxera. Phylloxera wiped out a lot of the vines, almost all of the vines in Europe in the early 1900s, and all of the vines that the Urgelet brothers have are pre-phylloxera. So those are pretty rare. You don't really come across those in the world anymore. And it leads to very, very flavorful wines just because the vines are so old. Yeah, really, really mature vines. You get a lot of red fruit in this wine. You get a lot of really pretty black pepper notes. It's really bright. It's really long. The winemaking is really clean. Yeah, I think it's a tremendous wine, and it's a really cool story that, the brothers, they operate this whole organic farm, and they actually grow delicious vegetables as well. And the winemaking is really just part of what they do, but it's just such a unique place because of the sand and the old vines. And, Zinfandel from California, really, really great. It was planted by old Italian farmers in the late 1800s. So, yeah, that's what we got for you. Hope you enjoy. Cheers.